Alright, Pavlova cookie. Our latest epic, range in the rear. Alright, no specific element for this particular cookie. Alright, so let's look at the skill. 6-second cooldown. An absolutely insanely fast cooldown here. Heart-piercing arrow. Very short. Shoots an arrow into the sky, summoning a rain of arrows falling onto the enemies, dealing damage and applying the red thread debuff. The more target receive damage, the more stacks of red threads are applied. Summoned creatures are excluded. Additionally, Pavlova cookie will increase the team's crit percentage and crit damage. Targets who reach the maximum stacks of red thread become charmed when Pavlova cookie uses his skill. Okay, so let's look at this. Rain arrow damage is going to be 10 hits over 1.5 seconds, and each of them are going to deal 135.5% damage. Red thread, all element damage plus 6%. Attack reduced by 3%. Defense reduced by 4% for 15 seconds, stacks up to 10 times. That means attack reduced by 30%, defense reduced by 40%, and all elemental damage increased by 60% at max stack. Number of red thread times 2 for 3 enemies in the area, times 6 for 5 enemies in the area, times 1 for other. Alright. Crit percentage 17.5%, crit damage 25%, and charm is going to be 2.5 seconds. Alright, so very interesting. The max stack is going to be 10. Depending on how fast you stack those things, it will pretty much make a difference of how much damage Pavlova is able to deal, as well as help deal as well. Alright, so let's just test Pavlova out here inside of the regular world exploration with a full cooldown here, so that we can just kind of see how fast the stacks are going to be. Gotta go to a boss who actually takes the stacks, right? Alright, so there's the red thread. Except for the fact, the only thing is you need to actually go and use the skill basically 10 times, because you don't see any more enemies, right? So you only see one enemy, so it's just one time. But the damage wise, I mean, pretty good for what it is as of right now. Again, the only downside is the elemental damage pretty much is useless on Pavlova, just because of the fact that Pavlova himself doesn't have any element. So he's not really taking any advantage of that particular debuff. Except if you compare it to somebody like Rebel, I can never find my cookies. It's crazy. Alright, so Rebel, if you look at it, defense reduced by 14%, stacks up to 6 times. This one right here, all type damage vulnerability, 60% for 14 seconds. Pretty much the same as Pavlova, but just a lot faster. But if you stack Pavlova with someone like Rebel now, would that be the new thing? But now again, Pavlova just needs to use the skill a lot more, right? Depending on how many enemies there are, right, the stacks will just be faster. So if you use something like this with Eternal Sugar, right, Eternal Sugar has an element, right? If you use the thread buff, and then the red thread will do a lot more stacks. Alright, I think we're so behind. Alright. If our Pavlova did not go in the front right there, then this would have been a lot different. But now the only downside is if the boss is immune to debuffs, then it kind of becomes useless, right? Now, in the arena though, will Pavlova somehow, some way be used inside of the arena? In my personal opinion, the only place that I can see Pavlova kind of, maybe possibly being used inside is gonna be like with something like this. But now we're just sacrificing a lot of extra stuff on the side. Like, is this gonna allow Pavlova to have enough like survivability? we'll just have to see. I just don't know exactly what it's gonna be. Alright, so right there, Pavlova is the one to take the Shadow Milk Cookie skill. So, and Pavlova literally just explodes. So, yeah, unless we go like full on damages, maybe Pavlova could use skill one time, but you guys saw. It's so hard for an epic cookie to be used, especially if it's a damage dealer with something like 300,000 HP. If you don't have like 500,000, never mind, 700,000, 800,000, then yeah, it's gonna be hard for epic cookies to actually survive inside of the arena. Yeah, that is tough, man. That is tough. Now, the thing that I want to try out is inside of the guild boss battle. And we can't use Pavlova in here because of the fact that Pavlova is not gonna include the summoned units. So I guess inside of guild 2, it's an iffy one. Like, who are you gonna replace inside of the dragon team 2? Because you need these 3. If we remove prune juice, we're gonna need matcha or dark choco. If you're gonna use Pavlova, it's better to use Rebel. So I guess inside of the guild boss battle 2, probably not a good idea to use Pavlova just because of the fact that in Avatar of Destiny 2, debuffs, instant reversal, which means that all your cookies are gonna explode and die. That's kind of the reason why a lot of new players who don't read the actual skill goes to Avatar of Destiny, has cookies who do debuffs, and then your team explodes and be like, oh my gosh, Avatar is broken. Right? That's not what it is. It's just you have to read the skill. So, in my personal opinion, I wouldn't consider Pavlova completely useless. The only thing is that you're gonna have to use this guy in something like Cookie Alliance. I think in Cookie Alliance, it actually might be pretty good. Additional to someone like Rebel, if you can actually use it to increase the overall elemental damage. So that's actually going to be pretty good. Combined with Fire Spirit, I think that actually might be something. Especially now you have Charm as well, right? And then of course, when like other special arenas do come out, we'll have to see how the Beast Raid does too, because cookies like these sometimes are used inside a Beast Raid for their own particular update. So we'll see how this one goes. But Arena and Guild Boss Battle right now doesn't look like we're going to see Pavlova. PvE seems pretty good, but I think we'll have to just, as of right now, say probably not going to be like a must pull. Good to have on the side, but yeah, that's pretty much what I have for Pavlova. Very simple, so easy to test out, but that's pretty much what we got.